The most valuable message I learned from traveling abroad is to be curious, and with that comes being okay to come out of your comfort zone. I was born and raised in San Diego, so I didn't leave my comfort zone when I stayed for school. However, I did move out of my parents' home, and that was different, but nothing compared to being in a different country, not knowing the language, food, or culture. The second I landed, I knew I was in for an adventure. I remained curious throughout my weeks there. I observed the life of locals, their customs, learned their language, tried their food, and it all required for me to be okay being in a place I was not familiar with. At the end of the day, my goal was to make it familiar. When I finally made my decision to travel to Italy, I had huge expectations. I expected everything to be green, clean, and wealthy, just how the movies portray it. However, Naples is not like that. Once I landed, I realized my expectations were wrong. I decided to do my own research, and almost everything I would read was negative. It's dirty, corrupt, poor, nothing to see. But from living there for 5 weeks, I can tell you otherwise. I explored beautiful churches and historic buildings, ate delicious food, met the friendliest people, and I was never in a dangerous situation. One thing that did remain true was it is dirty. There were trash bags everywhere, but it is the third largest municipality in Italy after Rome and Milan. It also is poor. Naples is in southern Italy, which is very different than the north. I truly believe you get what you give. I was ready to explore a country that was different. I wasn't going to let some bad reviews dull my experience. Naples needed some improvements, and that was okay. Global perspective is important because the way we live, our culture, our language, it's not the only one. The world is rich with culture, language, food, societies, communities, traditions that are all different than ours. We need to learn how to embrace and work with them for a healthy, happy future. From this experience, I have been able to strengthen skills such as empathy, communication, and responsibility. Responsibility being the most important, especially when it has to do with health. Diseases do not have borders. For example, the Zika virus originated down in South America, and there has been cases in the States. As citizens in this world, we need to understand if one is healthy, others would be too. Our health is indeed dependent on others, and together we need to help each other. I taught English at a school called Ludoteca. Our day would start off by waiting for the children to trickle in. Once most of them were there, we would unite in the main room and sing Italian songs as a warm-up. The kids will then disperse and go make crafts, make puzzles, read, or go outside. Eventually, we would all end up outside to play against each other. I was very surprised with the ratio of kids to teacher. There were about 5 teachers and about 5 teacher assistants, plus the volunteers. On an average day, there wasn't more than 20 kids. When we would break up into groups, each teacher had no more than 8 children and teacher assistants to help them. The children were all very well taken care of. I always thought the school was amazing. The most impactful experience I had, and the most tiring, was running around Naples with my students and students around the district. The teachers organized a huge scavenger hunt to compete among other schools. There were at least 100 students there, and everyone was broken up into groups. The teachers and students all met up at a designated church and the games began. The games required for the group to travel 15 to 20 minutes before arriving at the next destination. Once there, a teacher was waiting, ready to give instructions for the next task. Because the kids were so energetic, we were always running. It was hard to keep track of the children, but we got it done. During this experience, I was not only able to connect with my students and really get to know who they were, I was also able to take in Naples in a way I wouldn't have been able to on my own. The teachers and students ran through the streets without a care of being lost, because it was their home, and that sense of security was something I didn't get to experience much abroad. The teachers had always been welcoming, but after this day, they made me feel like I was one of them, and this enhanced my experience at the school. was so surprised at how easy and affordable it is to travel in Europe. I was lucky enough to work during the week and have my weekends off. I was able to visit the most beautiful islands to relax, Rome and Paris, France. The ferry rides were a short 40 minutes and around $22 US. Although the islands were all fairly close, they were all different and unique in their own way. Procida is known for being a fisherman town and has an amazing panoramic view. Capri is known for their grottos and is portrayed as the most fancy and expensive. Ischia has wonderful spas all around with about 50 pools, all at different temperatures. Sorrento and Positano were my favorite. They were the most homey because they had the less tourists. Rome had the most amazing architecture right in the middle of the city. The Colosseum, Trevi Fountain, and Pantheon were all minutes away from each other by foot. My favorite place and where I wanted to spend my 21st birthday was in Paris. I was blessed enough to be able to accomplish this dream and visit the Palace of Versailles, Disneyland, the Arc of Triomphe, the Louvre Museum, and of course, the Eiffel Tower. Going abroad can be intimidating. I remember being there after a week and wanting to leave. I called my parents at 5 in the morning in San Diego, around 1 p.m. in Naples, because it was not what I had expected. I felt everything was going wrong. The heat was too strong, it caused me to get hives. My phone broke, and I missed everything that was familiar to me. My parents both urged me to stay, and so did the people I had only known for a few days. I cannot thank them enough for encouraging me and helping me learn so much. It truly was such a fun, eye-opening experience where I got to learn so much about me. I miss it and I would go back in a heartbeat.